everyone, welcome back. It's Atia. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe. So this week's video is a little bit different. It's kind of like a debrief. I've been involved in 3 theatrical productions in the past 6 months, and I just got done about, I would say, like a week ago. Yeah, like a week and 2 days ago I finally finished the last production. It's been a weird time. And I've gone through somewhat of like a withdrawal period. Like after Token ended, I was just sitting in my room for a good 30 minutes in this chair. Just like a good 30 minutes just staring at my micro fridge in silence, like processing the fact that I was done. The withdrawal and the realization that the other 2 shows had closed were catching up to me, because I went straight from closing AWESOMENESS and jumped straight back into Funny House, and then closed Funny House and jumped straight into Token. And this video is just like what happened on those journeys and what I've learned from doing 3 shows in 6 months. So AWESOMENESS, I was brought into the production team early December as the assistant director, and basically another student who goes here who was friends with the director submitted his play to this off-Broadway play festival, was accepted, and then like needed a cast and a production team. So that's how that happened. And it was exciting for many reasons. First of all, it was exciting because like I was assistant directing something that was going to be in an off-Broadway play festival. That's a completely new experience for me. It just raised the stakes. It was also exciting because I was filling 2 roles. You know, like I said before, I'd never been assistant director, but then also partway through the process, our production stage manager, she was going to Vegas for her birthday, yay, and the person who was supposed to be taking her spot couldn't, and so the director was like, hey, can you stage manage us for these last few rehearsals and tech and the productions? And I love and adore stage managers. I realize as both an actor and a director and anyone who makes theater that like nothing gets done without a stage manager. You know, they are the end all be all. They are the make it or break it of a team. And I had no stage managing experience whatsoever. I've never taken a class, nothing like that. So I was excited because I was like, oh, okay, this is something new that I can do. But I was also like, I can't mess this up at all. I can't mess it up. Like, I have to call the show. It was just a stressful time. But it was from this show that I realized that like I totally would enjoy being a stage manager. I don't want to make it my like full-time job because I love directing, but like I would not mind stage managing like a show or 2 here and there. But I realized that you can be super duper invested in a show without actually being an actor or the director, which sounds like a weird concept, but when you think about it, like the actors have a lot at stake. You know, they're the ones on stage, they're the ones acting. The director also has something at stake, like this is their vision on the stage, this is their name on it. I always wondered, I was like, can they get as invested as a director or an actor? And I was equally invested. I wouldn't say I was equally invested with AWESOMENESS as I was at like shows that I've directed, but there was still this level of like I really want this to do well, and like just being really part of a team was something that I felt for the very first time with AWESOMENESS, which I really appreciated. So the 3rd show, I'm just gonna skip the 2nd one for right now. The 3rd show was Token, and I actually went to see it. It was a stage reading, part of a play writing festival that happens here, and I absolutely loved the concept and loved what it was about. The playwright, who's a co-worker of mine, we're both RAs, he approached me and he was like, hey, would you be interested in directing this? And I was like, duh, of course. I guess I relearned something that I already knew. I don't want to be producing and directing a show at the same time. A little bit of backstory. Directing debut and my playwriting debut was Orchestra Seats, and that happened about a year ago actually. It opened the second weekend of March of 2016. I was directing it, but I was also producing it. And I did the same thing with Token. It wasn't my own money. We fundraised and things like that, but I was the one setting the budget. I was the one making sure that we had enough money to pay the fight choreographer and get the props and all these different things. I was the one who made the GoFundMe. It was just a lot, you know, and I learned and I knew from Orchestra Seats, and I relearned it from Token, that being both the producer and the director, they kind of clash in a way. As a producer, every time I was in rehearsal, I was thinking about, can we afford that? Can we afford that? Can we afford that? And that stifles the director. And of course, like, even when I'm not producing, I still have to have certain guidelines. Like, I can't go out and be like, I want to build a castle on stage. But it's not that voice in my head that's combating with my directing voice that is like, oh, that's a great idea if we had the money. And so I just felt that was like really limiting and stifling to my creativity. And it was the day before we opened, that Wednesday, and I was watching them do a run through, and there were 2 scenes where I was like, wow, like I would really totally change that staging. And I knew deep down in my soul that if I had not been worried about producing and worried about money, that I would have allowed my creative channels, I guess you can say, to be open, and to have realized that beforehand. And with that, like, I just realized that there are some jobs in theater that you can't do both. Like, and being a director is one of those jobs. I also realized, along the same token, that I wouldn't mind just producing a show. Like, if I wasn't directing anything, I wouldn't mind, like, gathering the budget numbers and fundraising for it and things like that, if it's a show that I'm passionate about. I actually really enjoyed producing. I just didn't enjoy it in tandem with directing. So the second show that opened was Funny House for Negro. I was approached by 2 current seniors about a year ago, and they asked me to direct their senior project. We casted in October, and then from October all the way until February was Funny House. That was my life this year. I say that I was in 3 shows in 6 months, like planning or whatever, and I say that because we started rehearsals in October, but I'm being completely honest, like I feel like I had been working on Funny House since we got back to school, which would be September, so it's technically 7 months, but if you want to count like just being in rehearsal, I'll give it 6. Funny House of a Negro was the most fulfilling theatrical theater making experience that I have had so far in my life. It was a difficult script. It still kind of is a difficult script. Like, it's a difficult script, and I doubted my capabilities and my ability to direct so many times along this journey. I told no one this until like the end of the production, where I was sure like everything was set. But there were several moments where I would just think to myself, both inside rehearsal and outside of rehearsal, like, who am I to be directing this show? You won't always be able to see in the beginning. And what I mean by that is, like, everyone wants to know your vision. Everyone wants to know, like, how you're gonna do this. I've grown to hate the question, oh, what's your vision for a show? And I really try not to ask anyone else. But I knew I had a vision. I knew that there was something that I wanted to say, but I just never, for a long time, could just not figure out how I wanted to articulate it. And I guess the best analogy I have for that is when a sculptor has some marble, or they have clay or whatever, and they don't know what they're going to make until they're in the process of making it, and they get to the end and they're like, this is what I wanted. And it was through having choices and making specific decisions where I was like, okay, this is what I want, this is what I don't want, this is what I want, this is what I don't want, and just like trusting my gut. And that was super scary for me as a person, and also just as a director. Like, you're supposed to be the one with the vision and like know where you're going and be able to articulate and have like a clear, concise like image in your head, and that's what I thought directing was, and I didn't have that. And so I was freaking out for 6 months, 5.5, I guess, like 2 weeks before we opened. I was like, all right, cool, I got it, this is great. I also learned that you will never have all the answers in the beginning, in the middle, or even near the end. Like, and sometimes you just gotta roll with it and let it be. I got to the point where like people are like, oh, what do you want? It's like, give me options, you know? Unless I say explicitly I want this and that, like, I need people to bring food to the table so I can tell them whether or not I want potato salad or macaroni. And then we go from there. And it was really from picking and choosing from all these different options that I was able to clearly have my vision. And it was during the faculty showing, which is the day before we open, and it was the first time I got to truly actually just watch the show without taking any notes. And I was so proud of everything that we had done. And I remember just like sitting in the back and being like, that's my vision on stage. That's definitely my vision. And if you had asked me 6 months before that what Funny House would look like and what would be this and what would be that, I wouldn't be able to tell you. But I knew in that moment, seeing the show for the first time without having to take like critical notes, I was like, that's what it is. That's what I wanted on a stage. I also learned that a solid production team makes the journey so much better. Like, no matter if you're scared, exhausted, frustrated, like, they are your ride or dies. Like, absolutely. I'm talking solid in terms of skill set and like abilities, but also in terms of like dedication and collaboration, and also just support, like just general support. My stage manager, Chanel, and my assistant stage manager, Ashley, were like godsends. Absolute angels. And it was because of them that I didn't go crazy for most of the time. I will say this, I was screaming to the heavens. Like, my production team for Funny House of a Negro was absolutely the best and was a huge part of why my vision was able to be on stage. Just like that level of communication, that dedication to the project. So after all that, I am exhausted, but deeply satisfied, and I would totally do it again, possibly. I almost lost my mind, but possibly. I think the thing I'm most excited about is to direct my own senior project. Every production has to be better than the last one. That's my goal. Thank you for watching. All of my social media information is in the info box below, as well as the latest casual anxiety blog article. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I will see you in 2 weeks. Bye.